And the second chapter, more intimate, after he creates man, the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh is an intimate name for relationship. So this is another clue that the first time the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh is seen in Torah is actually in Genesis 2 in relationship to Adam and Eve and Shabbat. And so here is this Ayah Asher Ayah. What's amazing is the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, when you look at the etymology of the word, they say that it comes from this, and you can even find that in the Strong's, the Hebrew 1961, is this Ahaya. Now, before the vowels, Ehya probably would have been pronounced Ahaya. See the Aleph, the Hey, the Yod, and the Hey. And Ahaya, if you can even find this in the Strong's, comes from the root Hava. And Hava, Hebrew 1933, meaning to breathe. So just like God breathed into Adam the breath of life, he would have been referred to in the root as Hava, which is very interesting because we're talking about finding that missing vowel point in the context of the Yod and the Hey, which we know is pronounced Yah, but then the Hey to the Vav, how do you pronounce that? And here the very root is Hava. He said, "Thus shalt thou say to the children of Israel, Ehya asher Ayah has sent me to you." And Elohim said, moreover, you shall say to the children of Israel, Yahava, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, Elohi of your fathers, Elohi of Abraham, Elohi of Yitzhak, Elohi Yaakov has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. So the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh is his eternal name, where Elohi is his title. So we know that the root for Yahweh comes from Yah, and we even see this in Psalm 68, verse 5. David refers to Yahweh as Yah. But also note that the word Ayah comes from the word Hava. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of the wrong vowels that they have placed in to make sure that the people never mispronounce. Just like we say Adonai is a substitute and Hashem means the name. The vowels of Adonai, which mean master, where we get the word Lord from in the English, were the first vowels that they put in the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh to substitute. So you have the Yod, the Hey, the Vav, and the Hey, but the vowels of Adonai are Ah, O, Ah. And this is where Yehovah first came into existence. See, they put the A, O, and the A of Adonai in the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. Then, to further confuse the matter, the title Elohi, they thought, we will put the vowels of Elohi in the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh for certain usages. So when they did that, that vowel is the and the O and the E sound of Elohi. And so this is where you hear sometimes people pronounce the holy name Yehovah or Yehovah. And in order to prevent repetition of the same sound, since elsewhere they were pronouncing the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh with the vowels of Adonai, they didn't want that to catch on and to be even used too much, so they've got two different variations where they're put, but both of them are to avoid the correct pronunciation because they think the name is too holy. So here's two different examples. Yehovah comes from that, which later becomes Jehovah, and Yehovah. So how does the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh sound without any vowels? If you were looking at the ancient scroll and you just said the consonant sound without any vowels, which is beautiful because God tells us to not add to it or subtract from it. So how much more His holy name? If you just said the vowels, you would say Yah-Ha-Va. And it's just like breath coming off. Even that root of Hava, which Yahweh comes from, you have multiple words that come out of that. Because Av is father. You hear Av in that? And Hava means self-existent, the breath, self-existent breath of life. And Ahava in the Hebrew is love. So literally when you say it that way, it comes off your tongue like breath, and you are hearing in the Hebrew tongue, self-existent father of love. So we know that a name reflects a character, like in our Torah portion. This is why whenever somebody's character changed, they would usually be given a new name. Yeshua, who we talked about humbling himself to the lowest position, is given a name above all names because he's completely revealing the selfless love of Yah in his sacrifice. There's some interesting clues that come out not only in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament as well. Yeshua would have known the name of the Father if anybody knew it, and he would have shared it with his disciples, his Talmidim, right? And there's actually a verse in John that says, I have shared with you the Father's name. I have made known to them, he's praying to the Father, thy name, and I will make it known that the love, now here's the key indicator. So one, he's telling the Father, I've made your name known to my disciples, and John is one of his disciples. And Yeshua says, the reason I've made your name known is so that the love which you have loved me with can be in them. So his name, his holy name, has a direct correlation with love, ahava. This is the clue to pronouncing it correctly. The word for love, as we said in Hebrew, is ahava. John, his disciple, in 1 John 4:8, is using a Hebrew idiom when he says God is love. In the original Hebrew, it would have been YAHVAH ahava. YAHVAH is ahava. It's a play on the words. He's revealing what Yeshua has taught him about the holy name of God and how it reveals the Father's love in that name. Here it is in the Hebrew, Aleph, He, Vet, He. And it's a homonym again, ahava. It sounds like, even though this V in the Yod He Vav He is a Vav, it has the same sound. Ahava, YAHVAH is ahava, meaning affection, selfless love. So if you even take the vowels of ahava, and you do, see, obviously our people have known that it's the vowels of a certain word that are intermixed with the Yod He Vav He that are going to give it correct. But these vowels have to be like that which is not adding to it or subtracting from it. So it also has to sound like when you just say the consonants by themselves. Yod He Vav He, YAHVAH, whatever the correct vowels are, which are the vowels of love, when you intermix them, it's going to sound just like it does with the consonants alone. YAHVAH. You hear that ah sound, but it's not really a vowel at all. But it's in that, when you say YAHVAH, you hear ahava, you hear Av, Father, you hear Hava, self-existent one, the original breath of life. It's all connotated in this holy name that God is revealing to Moses. So like the original name of God, I am, coming from the root Hava, ahava is heard in the holy name as well, when not adding anything to it. And it also hints at the invisible Aleph of Genesis 1:1, representing Elohim, the Father, Av. Also, Aleph alludes to the mystery of the oneness of God. So here's some of the words that jump out at you when you say it that way without adding anything to it. Yah, which means to exist or to be. Av, Father. Hava, breath of life. And ahava, love or intimate affection. All of these come out of the sound when you say YAHVAH. Now I encourage you not to use it in everyday language. Don't make it common. Still use it. But when you're blessing your children, we're commanded to place that name upon the children of Israel. And there's certain other times where we're commanded to use the name. So I only share this with you because you're sincere truth seekers. And this is a powerful name that we can use in our prayer life and in blessing our children. For Israel, in the Torah, God clearly told his children what to call him. Moses heard it from YAHVAH himself, what to call him, and Moses conveyed it to the people. When writing the Torah, there was no vowels written, so Moses conveyed the proper pronunciation and clues hidden in a Hebrew idiom in the most important command. Even in the Shema, Moses hid this. So we say Shema Yisrael, YAHVAH Eloheinu, YAHVAH Echad, but we substitute that with Adonai a lot of times because we're saying it so often, right? Then it goes on to the Ve'ahavta. That's where we say, and you shall love the Lord your God, but in Hebrew it's Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. He's saying Ahava YAHVAH. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. Bakol, that means with all, levavka, your heart. Uvekol, and with all, your breath, nefeshcha. Uvekol, which means and with all, meodecha. That's a Hebrew word that doesn't have any English comparison. We say strength, but it means everything you got, like with all your might, with everything that's in your being. We're to love him. So here Moses hid love and the holy name side by side. And we see another glimpse of this in Isaiah 56:6, the very prophecy that talks about those who want to be grafted into Israel will graft themselves in to love the holy name. It says, also the sons of the stranger that join themselves and intertwine themselves with lev, heart, just like the Shema says, to YAHVAH, to serve him, and to ahava YAHVAH, the name of YAHVAH. So here it's a prophecy that whether or not you can trace your lineage as a descendant of Israel, if you want to be a part of the bride, if you want to be grafted into Israel, you should know the holy name. And you will ahava the name YAHVAH. You will love the name of the Lord, to be his servants, everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it. Now it brings in the Sabbath as the sign, which is like the diamond on the betrothal ring for those who love the Lord. Everyone who keeps the Sabbath from polluting it and taketh hold of my covenant will ahava the name YAHVAH. It says that any one of the foreigners who is intertwined or basically grafts themselves in to YAHVAH and taketh hold of his covenant with Israel should ahava, love, the name YAHVAH. So we want to ahava the name YAHVAH here at the Assembly of Called Out Believers. And we believe that this reveals not only the one true God, but his character of selfless love hidden in his name, since we're talking about names in the context of names. So let's look back at what the Torah and the prophets have taught us about his name before we go on in the Torah portion. One, in Isaiah 52 and 42, we see that God's people shall know his true name. And there's prophecies that talk about in the last days how this name would be re-revealed. Yeshua has made known the Father's name to those who love him, John 17, and that it has something to do with the Father's love in us. YAHVAH is ahava, John said in 1 John 4:8, making a play off of what Yeshua had told him in a Hebrew idiom. And we are to ahava the name YAHVAH. Whether or not you can trace your lineage, whether you're part of Judah or the lost house of Israel, or you want to graft yourself into Israel, you will love the name YAHVAH. And YAHVAH's name is to be placed upon our children, according to Numbers 6:22 and 27. And sixth, the foreigners who intertwine themselves and graft themselves into Israel and into YAHVAH will take hold of his covenant and will love the name YAHVAH, according to Isaiah 56:6. So this is just a beautiful gift that the Father has given us with new understanding, as there's so much we know around the world, not only division, but conflict over the name and how to pronounce it. And I never tell people that you should pronounce it a certain way. I'm just revealing what he's revealed to me, and I don't want to put any pressure on anybody, whatever, however they're convicted. But this is something beautiful that in my prayer to how to bless the children, all of this kind of came in an download.